What is up, everyone? Welcome to Reality Room Podcast with Paul,
Nate.
bringing you the latest on Survivor 34 Game Changers. Okay, crazy episode, guys. Really big move was just made in this episode, and Nate, if you could just describe it in a few words.
Schrodinger's cat, I think, is probably the best thing because, the move has been made. We just don't know if it's going to be a good move or a bad move yet. So that's kind of how I feel about it.
That's right. It's all going to be determined in the upcoming episodes. But first, let's talk about the episode. Okay, so first we start off with a brief recap what happened last time. We didn't do a video last week. I apologize. We were all unfortunately busy, and we didn't feel like it was
finals.
Yeah, we didn't feel it was it would make sense to do one so late. But anyway, last time it was a 2-hour special. Haley left, becoming the first member of our jury, and then Ozzy left, becoming the second member of our jury.
Survivor history was made that night. Haley's the first person to be the first member of a jury twice, and Ozzy's the first person to be the second member of the jury twice. So that's interesting.
A really historical episode, and
I'm happy that Ozzy's out. I'm sad Haley's out. I was seeing her maybe getting to final three if she could get past this round. I just think it's how she talked that people, not necessarily what she said, it was just how she said things that made people uneasy.
I agree. I mean, I like Haley a lot, and I watched her Ponderosa video, and she only lost 3 pounds. I thought that I was my mind was blown just because of that. But she was talking about how she was the first member of the jury twice, and it's just an interesting position to be in, because then you get to see how the whole game goes, and you get to talk to everybody, watch how everything comes full circle. But anyway, then Ozzy left, obviously, and that was when a big power alliance stepped up. First, Zeke tried to make his power alliance, and then Debbie actually was the one.
Nope.
Yeah. Exactly. So Debbie was the one that actually stepped up, and Zeke got.
I do want to say she did need to use her vote there, but
but she didn't know she had the votes. So when you get paranoid, you get paranoid.
Yep.
Okay, but let's jump into what's more important, today's episode.
Yes.
Okay, so we start off with some backlash from last episode, and Zeke was talking to Andrea, and Andrea was basically like, Zeke, I know you're doing this shady stuff, blah, blah, blah. And Zeke's basically just okay, and she was just talking over him. Zeke's basically just okay, listen, if you're not going to let me talk, I'm just going to go and talk to other people. And he just gets up and walks away. And I'm just sitting there ooh, you probably need each other, but I'm glad this conversation happened. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, Andrea just basically cemented that Zeke will never want to work with her, and vice versa. And what Zeke should have just done is just sit there and listened. Zeke's a talker, and he likes to be in control of everything that he does. And he wanted to be and that includes to every single conversation. He wanted to be in control of the conversation, find out what happened, kind of do a little bit of interrogation, but no, Andrea was no, absolutely not. And she controlled it instead, and I think that's what irked him that way. I mean, we saw it in Millennials versus Gen X when what's her face, the one girl, the barista.
I
can't remember her name for some reason. It's killing me that I can't remember her name. Hannah.
Oh, Hannah. Oh, my God.
When Hannah flipped on the Mari vote, and he just didn't want to talk because he wanted to just collect his thoughts, and he didn't want her to let her control the situation. And that's where that went. So
why do you describe Hannah as the barista? You should have just said the girl in the final three.
I
heard barista, and I'm I have no idea what you're talking about. Barista.
But whatever.
Anyway.
But yeah, so bad move on Zeke, and then the reward challenge was interesting.
All right, so let's jump into the reward challenge. Okay, so first off, it's broken down into teams, teams of 5, and one person got to sit out, and that ended up being Michaela. So
which was an odd choice.
Yeah, it was an odd choice because the teams had captains, so I don't really understand the logic, but I think. No, actually, I have no idea. I have no idea what the hell happened. I wish they showed the picks again.
Yeah, it was
just they used to.
Yeah, it was just not smart, honestly, because it was just Michaela's gonna like challenges in general. And then you have Suri, and like I'm happy for Suri. She got her moment, and like that's a really cool moment. It's a great winner's edit moment, by the way. But like putting Michaela on the bench, that's gonna piss her off. That's only gonna spur her on to make a bigger move later. Like you don't like Michaela's not someone you want to piss off. You like if you're going to get rid of Michaela, if you want Michaela on the outs, she can't no. And that's like putting her on the sidelines like that is bad. And like yes, like they didn't know that there was going to be an advantage there either. But
right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the advantage thing was pretty bad. But let's see, what were the teams broken down into? Was it Brad?
I don't even remember. Yeah,
I remember a little bit. Brad,
Brad and Sierra went Aubrey, Debbie, and Andrea. Yeah,
Andrea. I always call her Andrea. I gotta.
That's Brenda's way of pronouncing that.
Okay, well I'll well then maybe I'll keep it alive. And it was versus the other 5, and those first 5 ended up winning the challenge. But we had a very emotional scene. So first it was Zeke kind of having a little trouble on the other side, on the losing side, walking over. Everyone else had a relatively simple time. I think Ty, Troy Zan, and Sarah got through it rather quickly. Then Zeke kind of takes a little time, kind of loses he was close to the lead. They were about tied, and then they caught up, and then the other side basically almost lapped him. And then Suri goes up, and she's going rather slow. You know, she is older now than she used to be.
Yeah,
and she was never that physically fit in the first place.
Yeah.
She was never that great at physical challenges. She was more of a mental giant. I'm sure you would agree with that one.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. She's been close whenever it comes down to anything that's mentally challenging. From what I remember, Cerise's only ever won one individual challenge in her entire Survivor career, and that was in like Final 5 of season 12. And it was like, I don't even remember what it was. I think it was like a weird, like one of those like weird, like challenges that wasn't even a challenge.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think I stopped watching that season because I found out who the final 2 were, and I just got mad, and I just stopped watching. although thinking back on it, I actually do kind of like those 2 anyway. But you know, it is what it is.
Entertaining final 2. But
yeah, you know, maybe I'll go back and watch it. Anyway, so Suri has this very emotional moment with her swimming, and she's trying to go across the balance beam. Now the challenge is already over, and she has like this physical, I guess not physical, like a mental breakdown. Doesn't think she can do it. And then Jeff is like, listen, do you want to stay and try to finish the challenge for you? So this is like jumping across barriers that you set on yourself.
Yeah.
And she accomplished it. And everyone on the team, even people on the other team, Michaela was even giving her support, and she was able to accomplish it.
But Michaela was still disgruntled about sitting on the bench. But
she was pissed the whole time.
Yeah. And because of that, she missed out on the advantage. So
exactly. But what do you think about Suri's moment there? Powerful, or?
I think it was powerful for the story. I don't think it really helps her other than showing everyone that she's not good at competitions. Suri, like, even if like this is like imposing, like if Sarah had decided to stay with the 6, even if she had decided to do that, Suri would most likely be the last person on her side to go. And simply because of the challenges, and that would be, I think that works in her favor. So
it does, and she would always have been a vote. And there are 2 people on that side of the fence with idols. One of them has 2 idols.
Yeah, Ty.
Fucking Ty.
I'm waiting for when that explodes. Like
very soon, because of what happened this episode. All right, so like you said, Michaela misses the secret advantage, and like I love how the cameras were just working it. There's just like there's a secret advantage here.
Yeah,
like they just showed it like 30 times during the whole challenge. And I'm just like, oh yeah,
Like, when's Michaela gonna look? Because like I thought she saw it when she was playing with her foot, and she just didn't.
I know.
Oh my gosh! And I guess she might have seen it and just it didn't register or something. And then Sarah's just like, oh yeah, secret advantage right there. Like it's in big bold black letters. One, how did Michaela not notice it? Two, how did no one else notice it when they got picked up by the boat?
I know. And you know what?
And three, how did no one else notice that Sarah got it?
Well, we don't know that they didn't because of the way they edit the episode, so we don't 100% know that they don't know.
Or
but
the fact that no one pointed out in the confessional means that no one probably really thought it was anything.
That's true. That's true. Anyway, but Sarah's playing a lot more like Tony did back in Cagayan, and I've been saying this ever since our cast analysis, because I was reading through everyone's descriptions at the time, the people that I knew.
Yes,
I know a lot more. I know a lot more now, thankfully. And she said, "I know the mistakes I made last time. Yeah. It's basically she wants to take more risk, and she doesn't necessarily. She wants to make big moves. Essentially,
she saw Tony's game. She took it, she analyzed it, she took the parts that she liked, and she made it basically her game now is a less haphazard version of what Tony does.
Right.
And she's able to, and I think there's a couple of factors working in her favor because of that. One, she's decent at challenges, but she's not the best. Mm-hmm. She's not socially like powerful. Like no one's saying like, oh, Sarah's a great talker, Sarah's really like good socially. Like no one's pointing to her and she's like her game, like her social game, like yeah, that's a great example of a social game. Her social game is her strong suit. But
really good positioning.
Yes.
In the past, and I'm sure you were just about to say this, in the past 2 episodes, being in the middle of the vote both times.
Yes.
Very crucial.
And not getting backlash the first time at all.
Right, by the way.
And then
it wouldn't have even mattered if she didn't switch last time, by the way.
That's true. But regardless, even if it hadn't, she didn't get any backlash. And like, but she was also good at positioning the first time. It was just like the last time she didn't handle it correctly with Cass. And Cass is also like a very paranoid player at the same time.
She talked too much last time, Sarah. That was her mistake.
Too much. Yeah, that was her mistake. But she did position herself very well the last time, I think. But I think that's probably her strong suit. She knows where she needs to go. So good job. Like Sarah, like we're getting 4 winners edits at the moment. We're getting Brad, we're getting Sarah, we're getting Sierra, and we're getting Suri. Those are the 4 most likely people to win at this point, I think. And that could change. We're seeing a little bit of Troyzan as well. So
I don't think Sierra is getting that winner edit that you think she is.
And I was talking to someone early, and like she is sort of getting a winner's edit, but she's getting like a ready for a fall winner's edit. Like
that's what I'm thinking. I feel like Brad's getting it a lot more. Like you said, definitely 3.
So like, oh yeah, for sure. Like Mike, like like her winner's edit is similar to Mike's from her first season.
Right.
Where like you like based off of Mike's edit, you didn't think he was going to win. Like you just thought like, oh, he's setting himself up, he's overplaying, and he's gonna fall. That's kind of the way that we're getting Sierra at the moment, just less loud. And
it's also the way we're getting Zeke, by the way. He has these big conversations.
Yeah,
exactly. And things are just, I think, well, maybe not after this episode, but things, at least this episode, were more complicated than him. He was able to get out of it. But him always wanting to be in that power position, I think we were talking a little bit about this before, is always going to be an issue for him. I don't think he can get out of it.
Yeah, he needs to be able to let things go and be able to work under someone at some point. And he was capable of doing that last time with David. Like, he was fine with working with David. And then he's like, oh, I can make a move now. Let's try to make a move. And Zeke's problem is he just wants to make a move. And that's not the right mentality. And I think that's what's really wrong with a lot of people this season. where like the 6 going into tribal council had the right mentality. They didn't need to make a move. They just needed to do something to position themselves better. That's not a big anything. That just makes it so it's more likely that they'll get farther. And Zeke has this mentality that big moves do that. No, big moves do that when you're at the end.
Yeah, exactly. Big moves.
Get there.
Yeah, exactly. Big moves position yourself better for a final 3 situation. But you also have to be able to get to the final
Exactly.
3.
He's trying to win the game before he even gets to the end of the game. And that's where he's losing. So
however, I would actually counter what you're saying here, and I would say big moves I think are very important even at this point of the game, because you have to have that resume, and there's not always going to be that opportunity.
But big wins don't necessarily win you Survivor, and I think that's like a big mistake that a lot of new players are making.
Because it doesn't hurt your chances, though.
It doesn't hurt your chances, no. But it's like the notion that you have to have a big move. No, you don't. I mean, you look at Michelle from like what's Co-Wrong, didn't make 32. A lot of big moves. Yeah, 32. She didn't make a lot of big moves.
Well, that season was. I mean, well, that was bullshit.
That was a little bit of like crap that went on, because like Aubrey did get screwed, but even Aubrey didn't make a lot of big moves. Honestly, she made safe moves.
That's true too. Ty made the big moves, and he can.
Yeah, and then like if you look at second chances, who made the big moves? The people that lost, like Spencer, Tasha, and Jeremy. None of them really made a big move. The only big move that Jeremy made was to play the idol on Fishback, and that really didn't hurt him either way, honestly. Like, it just put him in a slightly better position. So it's
fair enough. I stopped listening there because I didn't watch Second Chances yet, so I closed my ears for a second there.
Sorry. Did you watch San Juan del Sur?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm glad Spencer's came back with Second Chances, though. Sweet. Happy about that. I like Spencer. Anyway, back to the episode. So, we just finished a reward challenge, right? Okay, so they get back from the reward challenge. Well, not they get back, but I guess they get back from the reward challenge. Half of them do anyway. Sarah starts talking to Suri. Very important conversation. Sarah lets us know that, listen, now's the time, possibly, that I want to make a move. I'm probably at the bottom of this 6 alliance. So she kind of has this position in her head, and she's talking to Suri about it. The way Suri's talking, it seems like she thinks that she's convincing Sarah, which honestly is really good for Sarah's game if Suri thinks that. So that's honestly really good. But Suri also knows that she needs Sarah as that number, and she's worked with Sarah in the past. What do you think about what Sarah's trying to do there?
I don't really think Sarah was trying to do anything necessarily. I think that was more Suri trying to make an argument. And that just puts, at that point in time, it puts Sarah in a good position, because now she has people who need her. And when people need you, that's awesome. Like, you want people that need you, not want you. Because if people want you, that means they think they can beat you. If they need you, that means they need you. And they cannot literally move forward in the game. Yeah, they're out of options, and they cannot literally move forward in the game in a safe conscious without you. So I think it was a needed move by Suri. It was a necessary move by Suri, obviously, but like it puts her in a lower position than Sarah. So
right.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about what Brad actually his thought process was that he reveals during the reward. Now, they didn't really pay too much homage to what the reward was. I actually even forgot. I think they went to like some private island on a plane. Or
they got food.
yeah. They got food and went on a plane. And Sarah and Debbie was like, "Yeah, I'm on a plane all the time." And I'm like, "Yeah, cool."
Thanks, Debbie. We haven't heard that a million times. But yeah, like Brad's smart. He's playing this game really well. As I said, he's getting a winner's edit. As we said, like, and we were discussing this before we started tonight, but like, see, the difference between Sierra and Brad's edit, like, Sierra is technically getting a winner's edit. She's in the control. She thinks she knows what's going on. However, she is the winner's edit that's setting up for a fall, as we said. So
exactly.
Brad, on the other hand, is not. He's much more cautious. He's playing things much more carefully, And the way he's doing things, it's more of like an unseen hand type of thing. People don't really realize he's doing things, these slight little moves that are just positioning him a little bit better, and that's where Brad is playing better than Sierra.
He's playing very tactically, and that's why I appreciate Brad's game this time around. The first time he played, he kind of...
He was awful. He was awful.
I loved it though. I loved it. So
I didn't. He was my opinion, he was a moron the first time he played. If you can't count to 9, I'm sorry, you shouldn't be playing Survivor. But like this time, Brad has redeemed himself for me personally, and it seems that he's redeeming himself for a lot of people, because he's playing very, very well. He's playing very smart, and he's letting other people take the heat for him. And people do realize he is playing, but I don't think they realize to the extent that he is playing.
Right, and people think he's playing to the extent of, oh, he's a big physical threat. I mean, that's what when people think of Brad at this point in the game, they think physical threat. They don't think mental threat, and that's, I think, his advantage. So he's
always on the puzzles, and that's what they don't remember. He's in the puzzles early, and then he stops doing puzzles halfway through them, like halfway between the pre-merge.
Exactly, and things might start popping up during those individual challenge later on.
Yep.
So Brad, when he picked his people, he picked part of his alliance, and he also chose part of his alliance to stay off of the reward. So unlike when Michaela said he didn't pick his whole alliance, he also picked Sierra. No. I mean, he picked Sierra. He also picked Andre. I really want to say Andre.
Aubrey. Well, he said he picked Aubrey and Andrea. And
I always want to say Andre.
And I think that shows like the difference. Yeah, like tactics, and also the difference that looking at and reanalyzing your own game can do. Michaela hasn't had the opportunity to look back at her game from the previous season or the time really, and really analyze what she did wrong and what she can improve on. She's noticed some things she needs to fix, which is like how she reacts to things and how she needs to react to them better. She's not really like doing that well in practice, but Brad has had the time. And he also is married to a former Survivor player that also drastically improved her game the second time around.
Yes, demonstrably so.
Yeah, so like he's able to get that like information and have that extra mind that he knows that who he knows has the experience to help him. So it's like Brad has had that time to think it over, and I think that's where we're seeing here, and that's why Michaela's not getting what Brad's doing.
Okay, so Sarah talks to Zeke. Very similar conversation to the conversation that she had with Sari. She's basically like, listen, I want to make a big move. Are you down to make a big move? Great conversation in my eyes, because I think she knows Zeke is always one that wants to make a big move.
Yes.
And Zeke has no options at this point. He basically, at the end of last vote, he was a lone wolf. No one told him anything.
Big move is Zeke's trigger, but
basically. So things are turning on the up and up for Zeke, at least in that regard. So let's jump into the immunity challenge. Classic immunity challenge. It's been done many times before. You spell immunity, you hold the rope, and you balance the other thing up and down. Make sure.
Like Ty has done this challenge before. So is Aubrey, and like Aubrey was okay, but she was struggling, and Ty was like, he couldn't even spell immunity. Like, who is he, Joe? Like,
that's been a constant problem throughout the season. So I'm not even upset.
I'm not upset, but like, well, here's the thing. He is thinking though. Like, I do like what he did and what he was attempting to do. He just couldn't like mentally comprehend what he was doing.
Right. Good tactics, but
good tactics, bad execution. Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
And so it only helps him, honestly, because it shows that he's not invincible in comps. Like literally the only thing that he's good at is probably endurance. But and I noticed yes, Brad was doing really well, but he didn't do really well until towards the end of the challenge. And yeah, so I don't think that hurts him. And nobody was looking at Brad and was like, oh, Brad's doing so well. No, they were looking at Andrea and Troy and were like, whoa, Troy's doing well for once. And oh, look, Andrea's doing well again. So
Yeah, and Troy ends up taking the challenge. And he said he didn't expect to take it, but he ended up taking it. And he also has the immunity. He has the immunity necklace, and he has the immunity, and he has a immunity idol. So very powerful position if he got wind of certain things. But he ended up not. So after the challenge, and that was a relatively short challenge, and I would feel like that was over in like 5 minutes. Didn't it feel like it was pretty short?
It felt really fast. Like that was probably no longer than 10 minutes in real life.
I feel like that's on purpose to show more stuff, honestly. So after the challenge, we have Sierra talking to Sarah. And this was an interesting conversation because it always shows these conversations in these episodes like it's teeter-tottering one way or the other. It's an edited television show. They have to do that to keep entertainment. And I was entertained, and I'm sure you were too. And the viewers at home, I know you were. Anyway, so Sierra was basically like, listen, I think it's going to be me, you, and Debbie at the end.
Yeah.
And that triggers something in Sarah's head that, hey, maybe I'm not on the bottom of this 6.
Yeah,
so
like one, I like the phrasing that Sierra used. She didn't say, I want to go to the end with you and Debbie, because that's a completely different connotation than saying, I see myself, you, and Debbie at the end. Saying, I see myself, you, and Debbie means that like we both of us have good chances at winning. But if she said I want to take you and Debbie to the end, then that shows, oh, Sierra thinks she can beat me. And so I applaud Sierra on using correct word choice there, because Sarah would pick up on that, by the way. But Debbie screwed it all up for herself.
Yeah, I agree completely. And I think Sierra basically, I think, secured herself with Sarah for a future episode in case anything was to go down. So there's always that opportunity.
That conversation saves Sierra.
Exactly. So that's why maybe she's not going to get the big fall that we think she is. So there is still opportunity for her, like you said. Although I still think she's going to have it.
I don't get why people hate Sierra though. That doesn't. I don't understand why. It makes no sense to me. Like, she's playing really well. She played really well her first time.
People hate her. Who hates her?
A lot of people on Twitter don't like her for whatever reason.
I mean, people on Twitter are like, they look for an excuse for anybody.
Yeah, and I think the connotation was like, oh, she's not a game changer, she's a sub. And I'm like, so what? She's here to play. Like,
half the players weren't game changers. I mean,
it's just the name of the season. Like, who cares? Like, just think. And like, yes, we get it. Like they're like, oh, I want to prove I'm a game changer. Like, who cares what that is? Just play your game. Play your game and play it the best you can do. Exactly. Who cares what the season is?
Exactly. I'm glad they're all back. Even Caleb, who's just like, who had to leave.
I'm still disappointed he was in early boot, because he was showing signs of being a good game player.
Great promise. I feel like he might be back. And you know what? That'd be pretty cool in my eyes.
I wouldn't be mad. I would not be mad. I think some of the super fans would, because they don't want to see him. They hated him in Big Brother, but I didn't like him too much in Big Brother either. But in Survivor, I think he's a much better player. So
he grew on me in Big Brother over time.
His performances in Tribal very much impressed me. So anyway, that's in the past. But
right. So so Sierra is looking like she's in a better position. So Sarah is basically teeter-tottering, and they have a conversation with Andrea. See, got the name right that time. About, they had a conversation with Zeke about, listen, we need Andrea to basically get this vote, and they talked to Andrea, and she was the vote on the other side. Sierra and Brad were like, listen, this is probably what we want to do, and Debbie and everyone else on that other side, basically, and Troy's and they said, yeah, that's what we're doing. We're gonna vote out Andrea, and going to tell people it's going to be Michaela. So they were able to use that, and they were able to get Andre. Oh my fucking god, Andrea! I'm never going to
stall right through it. That's the thing. Huh? Like, if you're going to peg someone, like they might as well just flat out set their target.
Right.
Like, because it was so like obvious. Debbie was cheering during the challenge. Like the plan was set to get rid of Andrea before the immunity even happened. Like, and like, oh my gosh, like that was one of the worst performances in trying to hide a target I have ever seen. Like,
I agree completely. And so I guess we'll just jump into Tribal Council because, and I literally watched it. I actually watched it 5 minutes before we started shooting. So, and Nate was on with me while I was watching. He saw me just like looking at the vote. But anyway, so Andrea basically, she's like, listen, I feel like it might be me today. And for the reasons that you just stated, people were cheering basically when my thing dropped during the challenge.
Yep.
And Sarah was able to, she was very convincing in what she was saying. And I feel like her line of work, that's pretty much what you have to do in that line of work, or at least be capable of doing lies like that. So she was very believable. And honestly, I mean, I knew she was lying.
Yes.
Because it just
for
just
those,
the edit was going.
Yeah, for those of us, that like know like how these people are talking and know where the edit is going, like we can see through Sarah's lies. But if you can't see that, like Sarah was pretty damn convincing. Like she did a fantastic performance. Like these people who aren't like the name brand game changers, like they stepped it up. Like as I said before, like Caleb, like he was great at hiding who like he wanted to get out. Varder did a good job early in the season. Now Sarah's doing good. Sierra's done well in the past. So it's like, yeah, like I'm very much impressed with the people that are like stepping it up this season.
They heard it was called Game Changers and they knew they had to.
They knew to change their game. So
that's right.
So yeah, so the vote.
Vote comes out, easy 6-5.
And I'm happy. I'm happy Debbie's gone. Like I am so tired of hearing Debbie's accomplishments. Here's the thing. Debbie is deceptively intelligent.
Yeah, I agree.
It was like while it probably long term it was a good move to get rid of Sierra. Short term, Debbie could have caused more damage, and as we saw in the previous Tribal Council and with Ozzy going, Debbie going, I think for the short term was smarter. For the long term, it should have been Sierra, but long term is long term, so you might as well take out the person who's most directly a problem for you now.
Yeah, her being the talker that she is,
she thrives in chaos. Debbie thrives in chaos.
She does, and she is a very good player, and but people just saw through it.
Yeah,
I think that's maybe where her downfall is. I feel like people were able to see through it back in
specifically Aubrey.
Yeah, right, back in Cagayan. No, not Cagayan. Korong.
Korong.
Yeah, Korong. Yeah, back in Korong 32. And
she was playing a slightly different. She was playing a much more loyal game in Korong, I think. But
she knew she was in charge.
Yeah, she knew she was in charge,
and she liked that.
Yes, yeah, and like Aubrey was so done with her shit.
That was so funny.
That eye roll will be a GIF at some point.
If it's not already.
If it's not already, and same with Michaela eating that coconut tonight. Oh my gosh, her eating, like I think it's just a meme now for them on the island. Like Michaela's always eating. Like, okay, if I'm always eating, I'm going to be eating as you walk out of Tribal. So it's.
I mean, I feel like Michaela is just like the meme of the season because
exactly.
she's had like that tea thing, eating the coconut. I'm just sitting there like. I mean, I want you to make like a big move, but I also want you to keep just doing this.
Here's the thing.
I love it.
Michaela, if Michaela's eating something, she thinks she knows what's going to happen, and it's not what you want to happen. And if she's that confident, like here's the thing. that means, like, even if it doesn't go her way, she knew somebody was on the verge of flipping.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Interesting.
So, like, that's a telltale sign. You got to look at Michaela, because everything that she does is just, it shows exactly where her head's at. Doesn't matter if it's on her face, if she's doing stuff with her body. There is something, like, if she's eating, she knows something that's going to happen.
So let's go into the scenes from next episode, because I didn't get a chance to watch because I shut it off right after the episode. Did you watch it?
Yes. It didn't give us much. I'm gonna say that. Like, people, like, there is chaos ensues. And I think the Schrodinger's cat, like, Sarah's Schrodinger's move, like her Schrodinger move, I don't think that, like, I don't think it turns out bad. I think it either just washes, like, completely, like, they so just, like, yeah. Well, not necessarily. We don't know yet, but, like, like, either that or it's just, like, stuck in time. And
you want to explain Schrodinger's cat for people who don't know, just real quick.
So if you don't know what Schrodinger's cat is, and you haven't taken, like, high school level science, like, the idea of Schrodinger's cat is that when a cat, like, you put a cat in a box and you attach, like, a thing of gas to it, and at any given point in time, you can open the box, but while the box is closed, you don't know if the cat is alive or dead, because you don't know how much the gas has gone into the box, and you don't know if it was enough to kill the cat. So only by opening the box do you know if the cat is alive or dead. But at that time that it is closed, you must assume that the cat is either neither alive or dead, or both alive and dead. So
it's that strange in between.
Yeah. So at this point, that's where we're at with Sarah's move, and we don't know what the consequences are going to be. And a lot of people are saying, "Oh, it was a terrible move. Like, she should have just stuck with a 6." Well, I don't think that's necessarily true, because I think they're going to.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Because Sarah's kept pretty damn quiet about it, and I don't think anyone wants to throw her under the bus. So.
Yeah, and it's a good move for Sarah, and also she also has the steal a vote thing, which I don't think we talked about what the secret power was, but that is the secret power, and she still has that in case anything does go awry.
Yeah,
I feel like in whoever's vote she steals, it could be pivotal. She says it hasn't been that this particular power hasn't been used properly previous seasons. I mean,
okay,
right.
So here's the thing: the vote steal's only been used once. And technically, it was used properly. It was just a blindside. This is the first season where anything to do with, like, an advantage that has to do with votes has not resulted in that person getting eliminated that round. So, like, we don't know with Sarah, but, like, with Debbie, she was the first person to successfully use an advantage involving votes without her getting voted out that round. So,
interesting. Very interesting.
Also, I would like to mention that Debbie is also repeating what her performance in Korong. She was the third jury member in Korong. She's the third jury member of this season. I don't know if that's the first time that's happened. I would think it is probably the first time it happened, but
yeah, it's probably the first time that happened, and definitely the first time someone went first, second, and third
twice, and then came back all the same season and did it again. So we'll see. Was there anyone that was the fourth member of the jury? And
I'm trying to think.
Because it was like not Ty, not Audrey.
Zeke?
Maybe. Andrea, no. She was fifth, I think. So it's coming close to her time. Yeah, she was fifth. She was fifth member of the jury. So I think maybe Zeke. I'm gonna look at that up.
I don't want him to go next though, so I don't know. All right, so I guess we'll call it there.
Yeah.
Unless you have any wild predictions for next episode.
No, Zeke was not. Zeke was also fifth.
Zeke was also fifth. Okay, so we have a lot of opportunities for the fifth. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure we have a fourth. Thinking about it.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think we have any this season. Because Sari was not.
No.
Who else is in? Brad definitely was not. Sierra was not. She was fifth place. Shoot, there's so many people left in this season. I can't even remember.
It's when it comes to crunch time and you have to think of them, you just can't.
Sarah was not. Maybe Troyzan, actually.
Yeah, I was thinking Troyzan. I'm honestly watching his season now, and I'm actually getting to that point when I think he's about to leave and that girl alliance forms. So,
yeah.
All right. Anyway, we'll end it out here. Thank you guys for watching.
Troy was also 5th, so this will be interesting. See if the curse continues.
Ooh. At least when the 5th one comes about.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for watching so much. This has been Survivor 34 Game Changers episode 10 recap. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe down below. Love you guys. Pretty long video actually. So great back and forth.
Yep.
Nate, last words?
Nope, I'm good.
All right, there you have it. Peace, guys.
See ya.